So let's say you're in a spot where you don't have a laptop, you don't have Photoshop, but you need to do some design stuff really quick, and all you got is your phone. What do you do? Hey there, hope you're having a fantastic freaking day. So I was in this situation yesterday, in between customer walk-ins at the shop, and my wife was at the event helping to set up. So I had to find something pretty quick because we were doing this wine and chocolate event, and I totally forgot that I needed to make signs for each of the flavor profiles. But I didn't want to just do standard boring little name tag kind of deals. So I found, after a little search on the App Store, I found a couple of pretty interesting little apps. So let's go ahead and pop over to the phone and I'll show you what I found. I went on a little quick little search on the App Store and found an app that actually was kind of part of a bundle here. It's a hand-drawn thing and some monogram stuff, and then there's the vintage one here. The vintage seems to fit a little bit better with the kind of the overall branding and style that our shop utilizes in our logo and stuff. So I went ahead and took a little bit of a dive and bought the app. It was pretty cheap. I think it was, I don't know, a couple bucks or something like that. But it was pretty cool, actually. It was actually pretty surprising, to be honest. So essentially, the way it starts out here, you've got several projects, and you can essentially kind of use these as template starters. So, for instance, on this one, right there at the bottom, you've got your delete, duplicate, and share and edit. So you can duplicate it to make sure that you don't necessarily overwrite the demo design, and then tweak as you see fit. So since I didn't have a whole lot of time, that's pretty much what I did. So I'm going to show you kind of a couple of different elements here. We'll go into this one first. So let's go into edit. Whoops. Let me actually show you this one over here. Okay. So essentially at the bottom, you've got several different icons there available. Background and badge and your decoration, your fonts, and then the overlays and stuff. So the background is pretty self-explanatory. I think the thing that I like about these backgrounds, actually, they are relatively good quality. I was surprised. So these are obviously all the kind of bokeh, out of focus kind of deals. Let me go ahead and hit the back button up here. And that gets us to kind of the main menu. So I was surprised how many choices you really have. And then all of these are essentially kind of bucketized lists. Definitely have a lot of interesting options here. So I went with obviously this one here, and then so each of these elements here are totally editable. So this element here, this is kind of part of the badge essentially, and go into the badges here, and I'll kind of show you what they've got in here. So these are kind of like framing and center points and stuff, and then these also are fully bucketized lists as well. So you get some variation. That's pretty nice. Those are all pretty standard, and then you got some that are a little bit more crazy designing here, a little more complex. That type of jazz. And then, of course, you can import your own images as well. So the decoration is something that I believe this is a decoration here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So these are kind of like your icon elements that you could theoretically overlay on top of. And then the way that I got my the company logo into there was by using the import images option, and then it just basically imports it. It was happened to be a transparent PNG, so that worked out pretty well. And then, just a matter of just squeezing and sizing. I love the fact that as you're clicking and dragging, it operates off of the center grid here, so you can always line things up nicely. And over here, like for instance, these are all individual text elements here, and then this one, of course, too. So if you double click on them, that's where you get into your editing section for the physical copy that you're going to be popping in there. And then when you select it, you can also change the colors of the fonts and the actual fonts themselves, the whole bit. And then it didn't really fit with this design, but there are some other elements down here under the overlay where you can kind of do like some grunge textures and stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and go back on this. And then, so this one was a similar design, and we just decided to kind of, change a few little elements. So since we had 4 flavors, I wanted to do 2 designs that were kind of similar, but then had, just different design elements built in. And then the other 2 would be more black and white, which was kind of cool. So on this one, I decided to implement a little bit of the decoration elements. So I couldn't help myself but to use a little cup of coffee there to represent mocha. And on this one, we did on my Instagram, I posted a picture of these, which were our traditional French rolled truffles that were in that the layer of dark chocolate ganache and then rouge cocoa powder. And I just couldn't help myself but to use the baguette on that one to represent those. So and then let me show you real quick here. Let's go back into this one. So essentially, once you're done with the design and you're happy with it, just go up here in the corner and select the export element. So what I did was just export these out as PNGs for now, but I love the fact that you can also upload these to the Creative Cloud in a PSD format. And then basically I just saved them to my camera roll, and then I brought them into Pages, the Apple Pages, and just lined them all up, because we just needed them kind of in like semi-postcard style. So I just lined them all up on an 8.5 by 11 sheet, just 4 of them, and then printed it out, and physically just went ahead and cut them, and they worked out really well. So anyway, so this is it's a pretty cool little app. Let's see, these guys are over here on Instagram. It's App Fever. That's the company name. And then if you're finding that there are not quite enough elements to work with, they do have some other additional bundles in here as well, with like 200 and 300 and some odd extra badges and decorations and backgrounds and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, overall, surprisingly good little find, and this might be something I'll be coming back to for some future, quick design assistance. All right, so hopefully that was helpful. I was surprisingly surprised at how robust the app actually was, and how many different design choices and options I gave you kind of right out of the box. Anyway, I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Make sure to hit the like button there and subscribe for more of this type of stuff. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.